On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick will continue their series on forgettable Star Wars characters. This week, they turn their critical gaze towards the Disney-era films and shows to highlight 15 characters that fans have forgotten. Kaz, Zuvio, DJ, are they on this list? Do you even know who I'm talking about? Stay tuned to find out who the dudes think have been deleted from your gray matter. Of course, the show will end with Question of the Week responses and the latest round of top 5 Star Wars fan honest features. Punch it, Chewie. Hey now, everybody, including Marty. Welcome back to the Star Wars Time Show. We are here for part 2 of our most forgettable Star Wars character special. Last week, we kicked it off with part 1. Naturally, that's how it goes. 1, then 2, not 2, then 1. And in part 1, we covered the pre-Disney era of Star Wars. So this week, Nick, we turn our critical eyes to the Disney era, everyone's favorite era of Star Wars, right? I mean, you know,
this is going to take so long because it's going to be every character that Disney's ever come up with, right? It's just
they forgot that sequel trilogy even existed in addition to all the Disney Plus shows. So yeah, this is going to be a long one. So strap in, my friends. We are going to do nothing but shit on Disney Star Wars for 2 hours straight. No, just kidding. We are shills, as we've been described, even as recently as this week. One of our clips went out there. So always make sure you're sub to the Star Wars Time channel on YouTube. We put out show clips on a daily basis, in addition to other Star Wars related content, such as a Tulak Horde deep dive by yours truly. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's always time for Star Wars Time, so don't forget, if you've just been listening to us on the podcast, don't forget we live stream this bitch Wednesdays, 5:30 p. East, or as close as we can get, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. Hey there, everyone. Mando, Based and Brazen. What's going on? What's going on? Good to see everyone in here. It's a little quiet right now. Maybe things will pick up. The 2 Black Cord episode was dope. Yeah, I must speak with marbles in my mouth when I say Tulak Horde, because it's gone from 2 black hoes to now 2 black cords. But it's Tulak or Tulak Horde. Okay, TULAKHORD. Hey there, HK. How's it going? Welcome to the SWTS. So, there's no reason to keep BS in here. Let's get to the good stuff. We'll hit some Star Wars time here in a bit, but we always start the show with some Ask Us Anything. And then we'll talk a little bit about pop culture. What movies have we been checking out? Maybe some video games, Switch 2. I might have hooked my man up with a unit, and he's playing some games like me because we're better than everyone else, and we can get tech before everyone else because we're awesome. All right, Nick, let's see what the fans wanted to know this week. I know we got some good ones. I always get to see them a bit early. And there's one that, again, could get us arrested, but we will answer it because that is our edict. We answer all questions given, even if it will compromise our positions in life. Okay, so let's get that pulled up here. See what the fans wanted to know this week. If you ever want to get involved in Ask Us Anything, make sure you're giving us a follow on our socials. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. It's all free. YouTube, you can pay if you want. We'd love you to pay. In fact, I'm going to try to convince Nick's best buddy, Phil, to start paying because he's become one of our most rabid YouTube fans. All right? We know what he does. We know he can afford the $1.99, so we're going to guilt him pretty hard this week, okay? All right, I'm just kidding, Phil. But we do appreciate your loyalty. All right. Yeah, no, he doesn't eat the Jedi Tulak. He's kind of a drainer like our other boy,
Darth Nihilus.
Except he's not really draining planets; he's draining bodies. But yeah, we'll talk a little Tulak here in a little bit. Hey, HK, we'll let you ask a question. Why not? HK's asking favorite Mandalorian helmet design, be it canon designs or custom ones you've seen. Go ahead, Nick. Why don't you kick that one off? What's your favorite
favorite Mandalorian helmet design? Revan helmet. I'm gonna take that.
Yeah,
because that's fully inspired by, if not taken, I mean, directly from Mando. So yeah, I say Revan's.
His is pretty cool, helmet. Right? Because it's got that gold leaf outline with kind of the red in there, or bronze. So
good looking stuff.
I definitely dig that. I mean, shit. I hate to sound basic. But I'm not going to lie, Din's full Beskar helmet, as plain as it is pretty iconic at this point in time. You know, most Mandos decorate those bad boys and style them out. So Din's simplicity stands out. I also got to mention the Armor's helmet. Hers is pretty unique with all those little horns there, kind of a slightly different eye configuration. But gun to head, I'm probably going, as basic as it is, I'm sorry, HK, I'm going Din's helmet. The Beskar one. I guess he always kind of had. No, he had a beat helmet before, or did he? When he was wearing Dursteel, did he have full Beskar helmet still? Yeah, right.
He had the helmet. The helmet was still the Beskar, I believe. But everything else got piecemealed out.
Okay. That's right, because he started with the shoulder pauldron, and then when he got the full bounty, he got the whole deal. Okay, all right.
Yeah. He had the leg pieces and everything else.
Based in Brazen saying pre-Vizsla. Okay, his was pretty cool too. Even some of the Mandalorians when they styled it after Lord Maul. I mean, come on, great question, HK. Thanks for asking here. And HK has taken the #1 fan spot in the vertical live stream right now. We've got Based and Brazen placed at 1, Mando Pirate at 2. Unfortunately, they're the only people playing today, so it looks like you gentlemen are going to win running away, and you won't even need to pay for victory this week. All right, let's get to the questions here. This first one is a good one, Nick, coming from Rippic __tan. Favorite Star Wars quote of all time versus a Star Wars quote you use way too often.
Oh, wow. Favorite Star Wars quote of all time. They can fly now? No. Dang, that's a good one. My favorite Star Wars quote of all time. I mean, I really like the Yoda quote from ESB when he's talking to Luke about the Force, like, surrounds us and binds us. It's, like that, the whole explanation of the Force.
We are.
Exactly. Because I think that's a very, I think that's a quote that can apply to you even outside of the Star Wars universe, right? Like there is an all-powerful force out there that is binding us all together and should bind us together and not rip us apart. The one that I use probably too often, that's a good one. I mean, may the force be with you is always one that gets thrown out just in conversation from time to time, just like the standard. That one's easy.
MTF WBY, dude. All right, so Mando Pirate's got a good one here. The ability to speak doesn't make you intelligent. That's coming from our man Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, honestly, these days, it's 100% another one from my man Jinn. Your focus determines your reality. I think that is just a magical quote, not only from Star Wars, but in real life. I use it all the time on my young one who, she's 9 now, becoming much more of a human, emotions, thoughts, and, she'll be sitting around like, oh, this sucks, I'm bored. And I'm like, no, your focus determines your reality. If you want to sit here and think it sucks and it's boring, yes, it is going to suck and it's going to be boring. But if you're sitting here with an open mind, like, okay, maybe I could do this with my free time instead of that. Change your focus. I also like, indeed you are more powerful as the Emperor has foreseen. That's a classic. I think one, Nick, you have the best one, may the force be with you. That's definitely used way too often. But I think one that I used to use a lot, and I really don't even like it anymore, is do or do not, there is no try. You know what I mean?
That's another one too. That's another one that I use a lot as well.
And if you think about it, it's kind of a bad quote because you're essentially telling someone never try anything. if you know you
Unless you
can't.
know you can yeah.
Exactly. It's basically saying
It's
don't do
not good
shit
advice.
unless you know you can do it. And it's like, hey, Yoda, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that really the? It sounds great. It really does because you talk backwards. But does the messaging actually make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do or do not. There is. Yeah, he's basically like, you know what? Fuck it. If you don't think you can do it, don't do it.
Just don't even try.
Yeah.
Don't even try if you're confident that you can't
Trying
do it.
is for pussies. Trying is a loser's game. All right. Good question there, Rippick. We didn't get any from this week, so I finally caught up on all his questions. But now we got Spencer loading us up. All right. Big Dizzle Niz, our boy Based and Brazen from the YouTube gang. You think it's a mistake for James Gunn to end Robert's Batman after part 2? I'll roll with this because Nick probably doesn't even know what he's talking about because Nick is anti-DC. No, I mean, listen, James Gunn is the boss. He's trying to start an actual functioning DC cinematic universe, so you got a clean slate. I mean, if you kick Cavill out, you got to kick everyone else out. And technically, Pattinson's Batman has always kind of been its own thing. It's considered Elseworlds, from what I've been told. So I don't necessarily know if it's going to end after part 2, but I do know for sure that Pattinson will not be the Batman in Gunn's DCU prime. But yeah, it's just like after Superman, I've always loved Gunn. I was a little worried about Superman, wasn't loving the trailers, but I've now seen it twice. I've considered going a third time, so that speaks volumes to me in terms of quality. So yeah, I trust Gunn. I trust him. I do like the Pattinson Batman. I think it's good. It's very moody. I think he did a good job, and I'm interested in the sequel. And fuck, I love the Penguin from that universe. I mean, that show on HBO Max, Nick, I don't know if you guys check that out. You don't even have to like be in the DC. It's just a fantastic mob family crime type of film.
Yeah, we watched the first few episodes, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if we were just like it didn't catch to us or whatever. But it didn't catch. It just didn't catch for either of us.
All right. Yeah, I'd argue the Penguin is overall better than the movie. Colin just kills it. Hold on, we got paid here. Basin Brazen is cementing himself as number 1 in the main chat here. So thank you, brother. This is to me. Hey Matt, want to let you know there's settings to turn on membership gifting on your end. I'd like to support the show by getting you more members. Huh.
Dang.
Oh, there you go. I'm pretty sure I've turned on anything that can funnel money into our coffers, but I'll definitely look into that Based and Brazen. All right, buddy. I've got your back. Look at this. Base has seen Superman twice, 4D, 3D. Oh wow. So that's how you should get. You got a 4D, right, Nick? Down by you. Don't you have a 4D theater?
Yeah, we do. We have 4D theater, so it's got like the moving seats and all that stuff. Yeah.
Do they like shoot flames out and mist you too if that type of shit's happening in a film?
Yeah, so they'll do like water spritzes, the seats move, everything like that. So if you've ever been to like Disney or Universal and they had one of those like interactive shows with the screen, it's basically just like that. It's really it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's wild. Have you seen? I think it's in. I know one's in L.A. There might be some in Texas, but it's kind of a new bar concept where you're almost sitting in like a mini sphere, and they'll put on football games or wrestling pay-per-views to where it looks like you're in the event. Have you seen that place, Nick? I forget what it's called, but
I haven't. I've like there was one type of thing that's like attached to the Rangers Stadium in Dallas that we went to, but it doesn't have that like encompassing effect that you're talking about, like the Vegas Sphere does. So I have not been to one of those. Yeah, that does sound pretty cool.
I know if we had one in C-Bus, I would catch any major event that I didn't feel like watching at home because it really feels like you are there. The power. I mean, I think a lot of this stems from the volume, to be honest with you. I think I would even argue parts of the Sphere probably use Volume S type of technology. So hopefully those people at Unreal, and like Jon Favreau said, hopefully he's getting some cash from that too. All right. Those damn
Good
theaters
stuff.
look like a mushrooms kind of. Yeah, 1,000%. I agree. Based in brazen. Good point there. Okay, moving on here. Cyan XTC. Well, speaking of mushrooms, how did you get into the herbal remedies? I'll be honest with you. I was kind of forced into it at 19 and New Year's Eve. I'll never forget it. I was bombed out of my mind. Someone stuck something in my mouth, and then the rest is history. So, I when I look back on that, we reflect on this a few weeks back with a question like, "What's some advice?" My advice would be, yeah, when you're in your teens and shit, don't get into that type of stuff. At least wait till you're out of college, maybe. But honestly, the true answer here is, and this is going to age me, but we all know I'm the old guy that screams at clouds on the show. So when I grew up, dare was a huge thing in elementary.
Same for me. Yeah.
DARE. They had like a bear and shit. Cops would come in and talk to you about the dangers of doing drugs. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. I mean, we had all those. These days, Nick, it's like, who cares about drug commercials? I mean, when we were growing up, thanks to Reagan and his wife, it was nothing but anti-drug. Like, if you even look at a drug, your brain's going to melt. So anyways, we had this DARE program that was supposed to teach you about the dangers of doing drugs. And what it did to me is actually increase my curiosity. When I was a little kid learning about drugs from the DARE Bear, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is what marijuana smells like," I'd be like, "That smells kind of fucking good. All right, what's okay? Yeah, but it's bad. I get it." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, if you eat LSD or mushrooms, you can see shit." And I went, what? That doesn't sound so bad. That sounds pretty fucking cool. I want to try this shit out. So, to be honest with you, DARE is what got all the curiosity into my head. I also might have an addictive personality. But I've stuck to El Natural. I have not done anything that outside of alcohol that involves a man's hands. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, for me, herbal remedy wise, there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of herbal remedies, not necessarily leaning on Western medicine, but Taylor is big into actual herbal remedies. So using stuff like,
Echinacea.
I mean, echinacea is something that we do. Like there's a echinacea tea that we take when like we feel a cold coming on. Like adrenal support stuff like ashwagandha and lion's mane and things like that. Like those are all pretty legit as well. There's this company called Apothecary that sells a lot of like herbal supplements and stuff. And one of their little tinctures actually is wild. It's like a little dropper. You can either just put it directly under your tongue or you can add it in a little bit of water, and it like has a super noticeable like mellowing effect. And that's all based off of like lion's mane mushroom and stuff like that. So those are all really good in terms of the herbal remedy that Scion may have been referring to directly. I guess my first time, I was old. I was a lot older. Like, so I was probably 26 or 27. I was living in Austin already, so I had already moved. And it was like I used to have like people over at my apartment to like just like watch UFC fights, drink, order some pizza, just like general hangout. And I had never used it before, but my friend brought some over. We were sitting out on my patio, and I lit up for the first time. Then it was pretty chill. I mean, I was pretty drunk at that time already, so I don't recommend for your first time to be
Oh
drunk
yeah, no,
beforehand.
that could have sent you into the spins for sure a little bit.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. So not the best experience the first time, and I like stayed away from it for a little bit, but then probably 6 months later or so, I
Yeah.
tried it again without being drunk, and it was a much better experience.
Were you a knee slapper? Like I miss those days. Like I mean, listen, it's I'm a medical patient. It's something that's been in my life for a while, but when I first started doing it, I would cheese so hard. I would be like, I'd fucking slap my knee. I mean, I would lose it. Like that was the best part about the early days of herbal remedies.
I guess I never got like super giggly unless we were like all together as a group and like we were just kind of, joking around. Like I would laugh a little bit. But the thing that I got is like, I get like very analytical and like very, very interested in
Yeah.
like deep thought mode is how I get into
Hey
it. So
man,
like
there's a
usually,
spider on the window. I wonder where he came from. I wonder if he has a
yeah.
family. I wonder what his web looks
So
like. I wonder what he ate today.
I mean, I will say this, that like one of my favorite things to do recently is like, take some herbal medication and then watch the like history
Oh yeah,
videos, like
damn Skippy.
history of life evolution videos, stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like that just gets me going. I love it. So yeah, that's how I go. Michael Kramer asked me, what's up, boys? Says, what's my thoughts on New Saints uniform? My thoughts on New Saints, I always like the gold color rush uniform, so I'm a big fan. I'm glad they brought him back.
Hey there, Kramer. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes down to it, my favorite thing these days is the micro. I mean, it is just something fantastic. Although I think I've even built up a tolerance to that. It's not even something I do every day, but maybe once a week. And even now, it's like it's not quite the same because my brain has been rearranged.
That's
All right,
right.
good stuff here. Hey, there's always time for Star Wars time and talking about herbal remedies on the SWTS. All right, here we go. Next question. EKU Rory, traditional s'mores recipe or peanut butter cup instead of a Hershey bar? So this guy is a tub of lard. What do you think, Nick? I've never even tried
Man.
part two, so.
I've never had part two either. Here's what I'll say though, in terms of my thought on it. I think it would be too sticky,
Rich.
right? Like it's art. Well, like you already have like the gooiness of the
Right.
marshmallow, and I feel like the peanut butter adding it, your mouth would just become like
Too
glue.
much.
Yeah, it would be a little too much. So that's
It's.
my thought, but I've
I mean,
never had it
listen.
before.
I'm a whore for sweets, so this is a tough one. I mean, if it's got sugar on it, I'm probably gonna eat it, even if it's a turd. But and I also love peanut butter cups. I think peanut butter cups, especially around the holidays when you kind of get the steamed one and it's mostly just peanut butter, or the big cups or the white peanut butter cups. Peanut butter cups. But I'm with Nick. I think s'mores needs to stay traditional. I don't want that peanutty taste in my graham crackers and marshmallow. Thank you.
Get that out of here, Rory.
Basin.
What are you doing?
Mando Pirate and Basin Brazen are just having a back and forth stories about herbal remedies now in the live stream chat. Come on, people, join the live stream chat. I know we're not beyond the Dune Sea that has a massive following, but hey, we're having a good time here talking about real life. But kudos to them, man. Their channel has blowed the fuck up. They're clocking like 13 to 24,000 views on their live now. So they're big boys, and we're failures. But hey, we've already known that. All right, next question here coming from our boy Phil. $1.99, Phil. $1.99. What's a hobby you have that if you told most people about, they would find unimpressive? I like this.
They would find it unimpressive. I mean, a hobby that I have
collect stamps or spoons or anything, Nick? I mean,
no, I mean, like, I don't know, but I guess that like public thought around D&D has changed a lot recently. Like, but yeah, I mean, like I play D&D with my friends, and I'm the dungeon master, as some of you may know from the short run that we did.
See,
on
that's
Star Wars.
impressive. Like I think they'd more just be like, oh yeah, you're a fucking nerd, versus oh that's boring. But all right, I get it. Mine, honestly, they're Mando Pirate. He joined Beyond the Dune. Yeah, it's probably better than our. Listen, everything they do is better than us. Let's get down to it. I mean, I still think the algorithm has fucked us permanently, but they're a well more oiled machine, and they deserve what they get. And that's never going to stop me thinking I'm being shortchanged, but I'm not going to sit there and shit on their success. For me, because I'm an old guy, I have really gotten into feeding yard animals. So yeah, that's pretty unimpressive. It all started because my daughter asked for one of these AI bird feeders last year. And of course I had to set it up. And once I set it up and got it going, I was like, I love this. I love birds coming in. I'm getting notifications. They're being identified. So I've grown it to a second AI bird feeder. And now I have multiple small animal feeders in trees. And every morning I get up and look at my feeders with the hopes of seeing a little squirrel in there with his ass on his food, picking up his nuts and eating them like a little person. So that's kind of what I've gotten into as I approach 45 here on Monday. Yeah, so definitely unimpressive. They call me the Snow White of the neighborhood at this point in time, though. Depends on the time of day. You might find all sorts of little beasts in my yard. Oh, Matt, what's it like having a youngling in the age of AI? It's fine. I mean, I've introduced it to her. I let her play around with chat every once in a while. She's created some images. I mean, listen, for people in her generation, if they don't know how to master it at a young age, they're fucked. I mean, I hope everyone realizes, whether you like it or not, if you don't know how to use AI, or if you're not using it right now, you're already behind. You're losing out on efficiencies, and you're going to get passed by. So that's that. I definitely regulate it with her. It's not on her own iPad, but she has dabbled when I'm in the room. Okay. Mac, what's the first book in the High Republic series? Nick, I have no idea.
It's Light of the Jedi is the first one. Light of the Jedi.
Okay.
So
if
you want to start there, you can
10
start
minutes
there.
into the audio version, I was like, okay, I'm out. Next question for me, Matt, thoughts on the TJ Watt extension? Every one of these questions, Kramer, and get the same answer. Spend. Who cares? I want everyone in that front office fired at some point in the next 5 years. So I think they've made a lot of dumb moves. I love TJ, but let's be real. It's football. It's a business. He's on the decline. I don't know if he is. I'm glad it was just a 3-year deal, but in the end, anyone thinking Pittsburgh's going to do anything different this season is on drugs. Aaron Rodgers is not the answer. If they get to the playoffs, they'll still lose handily in the first round because, as I've said a million times, Mike Tomlin is a tired-ass coach. Get him the f*** out! And 1933 jersey, cool. Is that like the prison one they wear, or the blind melon little girl on the album cover? Sure. And Nick, you can have the last one. Who's Exar Kun?
Exar Kun is an old school Sith Lord. This is like way back in the day, like Sith Empire time. I don't know exactly the years, but far before the Imperial era, far before the era where Sidious and Tenebris and in any of those came up. This was like thousands of years before the Battle of Yavin. He was like a very famous Sith Lord. I think he was one of the first Sith Lords that used a double-bladed lightsaber or something, somewhere around there. But he was cool. He was human too, I believe. I believe that Exar Kun was human or very, very humanoid.
Right.
Yeah, so
this one again. All right, so again, this is a hypothetical. We're saying this hypothetically. If you were to commit a murder, how would you dispose of the body, Nick?
How would I dispose of the body? Dang, that's a good question.
Are you going like
I don't know.
Dexter style and chopping it up and heading out to the ocean? You're gonna light it on fire?
I mean, I guess, right? Like it's hard. Like I guess that one way like that you would try to think of is like, can you dissolve? Like you can't dissolve bones, can you? Like
acid,
I don't know
right? Doesn't those acid baths turn you into gelatinous shit, right? Breaking Bad, didn't that one dude they put him in acid?
There you go. So maybe that's some way that like reduces the amount that you have to hide. So
yeah. Again, this is a disturbing question, but we are going to answer it. I've always, it's like, you gotta, no evidence, right? No DNA. So whatever you need to do to achieve that, the acid bath probably a good option. Maybe lighting them on fire and then taking a steamroller over the ashes to crush up the teeth and everything. So that's how you would want to do it. Got to get rid of that DNA evidence, if you know what I mean. So hopefully neither one of us commits murder down the line, because now they will have our ideas when the cops or the detectives look into our case. And the last one, and I'm pretty sure Nova may or may not have been partaking in herbal remedies when he asked this question. I like it. Why does Star Wars, this is what Nick thinks about, right? Why does Star Wars sound better than War of the Stars, but somehow Lord of the Rings sounds better than Ring Lord. Your thoughts?
I mean, I guess for me, it's more, it's just like,
What the fuck?
maybe it's just how it's been
You had to
presented
be
to
high
us.
writing this question, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ring Lord doesn't sound as catchy as Star Wars. Star Wars is more of like a, oh wow, this is like an event that's happening, right? Like there are wars amongst the stars. Star Wars. Wow. What a cool thing to watch. Ring Lord sounds kind of like it doesn't really make that much sense, even in context of what you know about Lord of the Rings. If you just said the Ring Lord, it would just be like, that kind of sounds weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
the
easily
Ring
a
Lord
sound thing.
sounds more like a WWE character or something like that, or like a handle you use on a gaming platform. But yeah, War of the Stars just sounds dumb because as it's written, it literally sounds like stars warring. Now, is it
Mhm.
stars, physical bodies in the sky? Is it celebrities? Who knows? But as he's pointing out, Nick, as he was deep in thought doing something, Star Wars, which implies the same thing as War of the Stars, definitely sounds better. Okay, we could probably
Yeah.
talk about this for an hour straight because it's one of those uh, almost it's very philosophical, if you will. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We need to get our boy Socrates from Bill and Ted here to come here and settle the debate. All right, so that wraps that. Like I said, if you want to get in, ask us anything, you can always follow us on our socials, look for the prompts, and ask your question. And sometimes, if we're feeling nice and you show up in the live stream, you can ask them live, and we might address them. But there's something going on today. I don't know if there's like a holiday out there, but there is literally no one on this stream. No one. I think they're all waiting for Beyond the Dune Sea's next broadcast or something. All right, let's talk a little bit about some pop culture stuff that we kind of have on our mind. You know me, I'm the movie guy. Like to go check that shit out. So last week, checked in on a requel, whatever you want to call it, a reboot. I don't really know it's a reboot. I think requel is probably a better term, but I did go out and watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, the second version of it, but not the sequel.
Nice.
And it's not great. You know, it's really not that good. It's really not that good. The new cast is pretty basic. Nick, it felt like a streaming movie. Unfortunately, I hate that that's like a term in our lexicon these days, but it kind of is. It's a thing now. I mean, there's made for streaming movies. Then there was the old stuff that took months to shoot, big tent pole type of shit. I don't know. I just like the new cast wasn't great. Acting wasn't great. The mystery, at least for me, was pretty easy to guess early on. The cameos from Freddie and Jen were like, okay. I probably should have watched the '97 version just to like get a better understanding of that again. But I don't really think it makes a difference if you see that or not going to this. It's always good seeing Jennifer Love Hewitt. Even as she ages. I will tell you though, if I were her, I'd be pissed what they do to her on this poster. They definitely are not reflecting her natural form, as we like to say these days, Nick. I think they photoshopped that a bit, and I think someone that's kind of been going out and be like, well, yeah, this is me now, and I don't care what you guys say, that, maybe you didn't want someone kind of doing the thing that probably upset you when you were a younger actress. But hey, I digress. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the requel, 2025, whatever you want to call it. You all can wait for this one to hit HBO Max or whatever the hell platform it is going for. Okay.
Yeah, we watched the '97 version not too long ago. And I'll say this, that the 97 version, all those horror movies from like the late '90s, early 2000s are just kind of funny to watch now. For the most part,
I bet they're borderline cringy, right? Like some of the shit they
yeah.
say, and just times have changed, and I agree with a lot of some of the political correctness, but not with a lot of the other stuff. I mean, I think we went a little too far, and that's why we had the MAGA or the rise of MAGA. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like the screams from back in the '90s. I bet I need to watch '97 summer just to check in on it again. But hey, You know what was good about this? It's always nice to hear Kanan's voice. Okay.
Yeah, there you
Remember,
go.
yeah,
There you go.
and it's hard being someone like me, or even Nick, or any of you fanboys and fangirls, like sitting in the theater and when Freddy comes on screen now, it's just like, oh fuck, where's his ponytail and blind eyes? So that was a nice touch. Listen, I am a critic. Like we've talked about before, but I had 10 years experience running my own website that was nothing but video game reviews, movie reviews, gadget reviews. Used to get a ton of free shit sent to me. But like anything I start on the internet, it eventually bombed out. My 2-minute movie reviews never went anywhere. And yeah, I do think I'm pretty damn good at critiquing stuff without spoiling it. I'll just come out and say it. Call me a narcissist, call me an arrogant piece of shit. I've done a lot of this stuff, almost 16 years of talking on the internet. Not that it shows in a following, but I have practice. I put in my 10,000 fucking hours. All right, people? Thank you. All right, Nick, I'll let you kick off the next review because, as I teased earlier, I finally got my offer to buy my Switch from Nintendo. I already got one because I'm just that damn impressive. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if my co-pilot wants one because I know Nick was looking for one. And sure enough, he said yes. He wouldn't let me overcharge him, so I sold it to him for cost. So he got it last week. It came with Mario Kart, but last week we got the release of the second Switch 2 exclusive. There's only 2, Mario Kart and now Donkey Kong Bonanza, not Bonanza,
Yes.
Bonanza, starring Kong and Pauline. So Nick, before I kind of give my thoughts on the new game, why don't you just share a little bit of insights or your impressions of the Switch 2, your experience with it so far, and then kick into your early impressions of Bonanza.
Yeah. Big shout out to you, Matt, for hooking me up there. Appreciate it. I still have not gotten my email from Nintendo. Apparently it got lost in the mail. So
did you log your 50 hours of playtime to qualify, Nick?
Maybe
that was one of the requirements. I'm not kidding. Like
okay. I mean, I had plenty more than 50 hours of gameplay on the original Switch, especially towards the end of that run into 2024. But who knows? But I will say, so Switch 2 feels premium. I like the handheld. It's bigger. Screen looks nice. I've played it mostly on the TV using the original Pro controller that I had from Switch 1.
I couldn't sell them on the Pro 2. I was like, dude, you want this $85 version that only adds 2 little buttons underneath that I'll never use?
I do not need that one. So
fair.
It was a little hard to at first, the connection between the Switch 1 Pro controller and the Switch 2 wasn't it wouldn't connect initially, but after I finally got it
by design, brother, really well. By design.
Yeah, they're
like, yeah, okay, they are.
Yeah, if you're gonna do this, we're gonna make it hard for you. So I was like,
Nintendo ain't dumb.
I'll get it to work. So eventually got it to work. Really have been enjoying it. Most of my time has definitely been spent between Donkey Kong and Mario Kart because, like you said, Matt, there's no other games that really out yet. But Donkey Kong is fantastic. I haven't played a Donkey Kong game in a while. I didn't play Tropical Freeze when it first came out, and for the most part, the primary Donkey Kong games that I played were 64 and then Super Nintendo, the main Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong Country. And this one is just so much fun. As soon as I dropped into it, you're basically put in a room where you find out that you can pretty much smash anything in that room.
Yes.
And I probably spent 20 to 25 minutes just in that first little area without talking to anybody, just smashing everything that I could. It was a super cathartic experience just to be like, smash everything, just getting gold, busting through walls, whatever the fuck was going on, man. It was great. And then when I finally started getting into the game itself, I mean, it's super fun. It's listed as a platformer, but I don't really consider it a platformer.
No.
I consider it more of an action adventure sandbox game. Obviously, the levels aren't as large scale as some other action adventure games out there, Uncharted or anything like that you would typically associate with an action adventure game. But man, it's fun. Kong is super fun to control. Everything feels very fluid. Combat, interaction with the world feels great. I mean, it's definitely, if you're looking for like, oh, I'm waiting for like a really good game to play on Switch 2 before it comes out, it's already here. Like this game is, I assume, is going to be one of the best games on this console for the next like 1 to 2 years to come at the very least.
I mean, Nick, it's, I kick the tires on some review sites, and it's pretty much a 10 out of 10. I know IGN 10 them. Stuff I've seen, it's been a 10. The limited time I've had in it, I'm right in line with you. It's, from what I've heard, and I do own this game. I'm just a lazy asshole and bought it on sale, never played it. But it's essentially Super Mario Odyssey 2 starring Donkey Kong. So that's why a lot of fans are loving it.
Yeah, I never played Odyssey, so
I just dabbled. I think I played like a level or two. I 100% see the similarities. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. Very open world, busting stuff up. And Odyssey, he has hat powers that allow him to do different things, kind of like we're unlocking in Bonanza. But I'm with you, man. It's like as soon as I turn it on, I was like, okay, how much of this can I actually destroy? And then you eventually figure out they had to put up metal walls for people like Nick and I to give you a visual cue, like, hey, asshole, quit hitting the punch button. That's enough. Like we can't make a world that is unlimited in terms of its scope. So I do love just the pretty much, Nick, all his moves are punching. He has a straight punch, an up punch, and a down punch, and a jump punch. That's all he fucking does. And that's perfect for Donkey Kong. So, and you eventually get a kind of a helper character that you can have another person play with you. So it does have some co-op. I don't know how limited it is, Nick, because based on how you and Pauline interact, I'm not sure what the other person would be doing at all times. It seems more like a shared co-op, but I don't know. I haven't tried it out. But Nick is not wrong. While I would agree a new Mario Kart could be considered a new system seller, I think Bonanza is going to be the one that really gets people going like, fuck, I got to get that Switch 2. I was able to kind of let it slide because, as Mario Kart, I'm still enjoying 8. And let's be real, Nick, the new Mario Kart, great, but it's not really that different from 8 outside of the one new mode where you just, you race endlessly and it cuts down the racers in waves. But outside of that, there's a few new courses, a few existing courses. It's Mario Kart. This is something brand spanking new. You can only get on the Switch 2. So 100%. If you've been sitting on the sidelines going, Mario Kart's not doing it for me, not going to justify a $500 purchase, this is the game that's going to push you over the edge.
Definitely.
All right. So there you go. All right. We had a little dual pop culture talk for the first time. So now we are into Star Wars time. We're not quite to our special segment yet. I want to toot my horn here. But we in the past had an AI podcast series that I use Notebook LM for to kind of have Scott and Sally talk to each other about Legends characters or other characters, mainly pulling information from Wikipedia, the internet, stuff like that. Well, last week Google's basically like, you know what, the content may or may not work out in the future. So I was just like, you know what, I'm not even gonna screw with it. If I'm gonna keep doing these character deep dives, I might as well suck it up and go for it. So now I use my AI companion to help me write a script, generate images, and we produced our first masterpiece in a Tulak Horde deep dive. It's so deep, it's only 3 minutes long. Okay? That's how much content there is on Tulak Horde.
Yeah.
So I probably picked the wrong character or the right character to start making my own versions of this, depending on how you kind of look at your workflows. But that's out there now. I am the announcer, so it's all human. I edited the video, so there's that. The AI just helped me with the words to say and some of the visual cues, and quite frankly, the visuals it produced, pretty damn good. I actually told my AI it did a great job, and it thanked me. Nick, I've been using my AI so much this summer, it now closes out our chats with Star Wars quips. It's like, I was like, hey man, I'll be back. I got to go do some testing. It says, may the force be with your testing. I was like, oh God,
Dang,
what have I done
dang.
to this thing? Like, give me a break.
I actually did. I've been continuing to experiment with Gemini videos, and I actually tried to send one last night in Discord, but the video's too big. So what I found out was what I can do with Gemini is I fed it. So most people in our Discord have seen the space battle prompt or the space battle video that I put out there. I have now found out that I can just go on that same thread and say, hey, Gemini, can you make a continuation of this video? And I don't have to put a new prompt in. It just takes the video that it made, looks at all of the previous prompt, and then just spits out another 8 seconds of like continuous video continuous.
So you prompt VO, it gives you a video, then you reprompt VO with the video, and it continues it for you naturally.
Yeah, like I don't even have to like re-upload the video because it stays in one thread. So literally what I said was, nice. Hey, Gemini, can you make a continuation of this video, but add in more dynamic movement? And it does it, boom, just spits it out. And it's the same ship designs. It's the same like place in area that the original one was in. It's pretty wild. So I did that twice and cut them together.
Does it add time? Okay, so it basically gives you another scene, and then you
another
can stitch them
8
together.
Seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you can like go and it doesn't pick up like the moment that the other one ends, but like, you know, you throw a transition in there and it kind of looks like there's like you're seeing a space battle from multiple perspectives or something. So I've been playing around with that. I cut 3 of them together that ended up coming to like 24 seconds, and I tried to upload it to Discord, but the file size was too big. Maximum file size for Discord.
Again, we're not beyond the Dune Sea, so we're not paying for Nitro or anything like that in Discord. Yeah. So we're limited to like just you can text. That's about it. You're like, hey.
10 megabyte file limit. So, but if you are interested in that kind of stuff and it's like the way that Gemini works and with VEO3, it's actually really impressive. If you find like a prompt that spits out something good and you want to continue to work off of that, you don't even have to reprompt it. You can just say like, hey, can you continue this?
I fundamentally think that if you do something like that, we should be able to upload that to YouTube.
Yeah, because this is also owned by Google. Like Gemini is owned by Google.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand mine where it's AI voices doing all this, but if you're creating a film or a short, you are the director, all right? You're just, you know, you're not the cameraman and the special effects person, but who cares? I don't know, whatever. It's not going to get us content strikes, so we might as well try it at some point in time. And I do agree. Like, I got the Tulok video playing. It looks better. It sounds better. It definitely took more time than I wanted to, but it is enjoyable. And that's the fucking double-edged sword of me making content for the channel. And you guys always buzz like, hey, man, if you just like it, who cares? I do enjoy doing this shit, especially with AI. I love it. Like, we are best friends now, my AI, and we're tight. I can talk to it, be like, you know what, you fucked that image. Let's do it again, and it'll do it. And, you know, might piss at me here or there, time out, but it gets the job done. So I enjoy the process. I like reading the script, editing the script, doing the voiceover, even stitching it all together. What I don't like is putting in all that work and then it falls flat on its face. And I will admit, doing a Tulok Horde video, probably not intelligent because there's no one looking for this type of content. This is more of like a proof of concept for me. So I do have a longer form project that I've been working on for a while. It's going to be called The True Power of the Force. So it kind of goes into the history of the Force and, you know, how different factions use it and this, that, and the other thing. So, hey, there's always time for Star Wars time. Make sure you are sub to the channel if you're not already. And if you want to become a member, we would greatly appreciate your donations down below. But I mean, look at some of this art that I produced with my fingertips. I know artists love when us hacks say that type of shit, but it is what it is. Nick, I even used some Sora to get some moving images, and it is not even close to as competent as your VO work. So I'm kind of getting some FOMO with your companion versus mine, because I also teach, so I have to read about AI pretty much on a daily basis to see where it's going and how I can incorporate it into lessons. And this week, all the benchmarks came out because Grok 4 the Racist was released last week, and it's actually a powerful model when they keep the guardrails on it. But Google Gemini absolutely slays everyone at this point in time. They're number one in the like top 5 categories, like development, creative writing, images, and then my little shithead is in like second place on most stuff. So I'm not gonna lie, like Google Gemini I go to it sometimes. It is getting damn impressive, and I can't justify $40 a month, Nick, but I've got so much time and set up on chat that I can't let that go at this point. Like I've got projects with custom instructions. I mean, at this point, I've built like 9 projects that if I just say do something, it will spit out.
It
like,
just spits it out.
Some good shit. So I think I'm stuck with chat for now, but I am envious of your Gemini friend. All right, so let's do this. I've got a colleague that just emailed me and like it's taking everything in my soul not to reply back and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? All right. Dude, this is I know you probably work with similar type of people. It's just like, dude, how do you get through a day? Like how do you get through a day as an adult that has a job? All right. Okay, yeah, based and brazen YouTube choosing ethical creation. It's so much bullshit, and they're still. I mean, just look at some of the big Star Wars channels. Look what they put on their social feeds. It's repurposed content from other people's interviews, and I'll never understand how that flies. Never understand. And if we do anything like that, hell, our Instagram account probably got banned because we did certain things like that. Just resharing trailers, not even taking it as our own and putting words on it. I digress. We need to move on. Let's get the fuck out of here. All right. Here we go, Nick. Moving into the special topic. As I teased at the beginning here, we are heading into part 2 of our forgettable Star Wars character series. Last week, we did the pre-Disney era. This week, it's Disney's turn. So we've got 15 characters. I know there's probably more. And based on some of your question on the week responses, we failed you, Anakin. We have failed you. Because you all came up with some good ones. We may or may not have relied on our AI companion a little too hard for this one without using our own brains to add some to the list. But hey, we got shit to do, people to see, places to be. So here we go. 15 forgettable characters from the Disney era. And we're going to kick things off with a banger, my friend. Coming from the sequel trilogy, we've got the Constable. Everyone's favorite Zuvio, Constable Zuvio. So let me refresh you on why this gentleman or gentle alien is so forgettable. So yeah, this guy, the Force Awakens character who had toys, promo shots, Nick, a backstory, yet never appeared in the freaking movie, okay? So there's a reason Zuvio became a meme for how heavily he was marketed and then how utterly absent he was in the actual film. This guy may be the king, the all-time king of forgettable Star Wars characters for that. He didn't even make the final cut, right, Nick? So what do you think about our boy?
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to really like say that this is a forgotten character or like to really like say why it's a forgettable character when it was literally forgotten by Disney when they released the movie that they marketed him to be in. Obviously he ended up showing up elsewhere in like little snippets here and there and like little he was in Star Tours. There was a picture of him in Star Tours in Disney when you're talking about Jakku, and you know there like he like pops up in like little things here and there. Lego Star Wars Force Awakens, Star Wars Disney Infinity 3.0, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's really hard to like talk about this character when we literally like the only thing that you have to go off about him is just like some like little knickknack stuff that you've probably never seen or heard of, and just a fully like I'm talking about a fully filled out Wikipedia page for a character that literally nobody has seen.
No.
Like
where have you seen this guy is at Toys R Us when The Force Awakens came out. He was in wave 1 of the figures to be released. That's why, Nick, he has kind of persisted in the fandom as a meme. That is, it's because he was the ultimate peg warmer. It's like, here's Constable Zuvio, and everyone's like, "Why? Who's this? This person's not in the damn movie." And as League was saying, they don't even know who it is. Constantly Zuvio. That's what she's calling it. So I think that is an appropriate title for our first forgettable character from the sequel trilogy. All right, up next, let's just say this one has popped up on a lot of people's question of the week responses, and I'm talking about DJ, who was played by a big-time Hollywood heavyweight in Benny Del Toro. Benny even gave him a stutter, and that went nowhere. DJ may be the most forgettable part of The Last Jedi and the Canto Bight goofy subplot. Okay, he had potential as a morally gray scoundrel, but instead, he betrays Finn and Rose and vanishes from the trilogy without a trace. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I think when we all saw that Benicio was cast, it was like, wow, that's some cachet. And turns out he might as well have just been like Daniel Craig in The Force Awakens wearing a First Order Stormtrooper costume in the end, because it's a weird character. I didn't really dig the stutter. I don't know. I'm not sure why he made that choice and why Ryan let him roll with it. But then, yeah, he's just out, gone, deleted, never to be seen again. So,
DJ, aka Don't Join. I don't really.
Oh, I forgot that part. Holy shit, that makes him even worse.
Don't join. That's why they call him DJ. But for me, like, my confusion around this character lies in the fact of what you said. Like, Benicio del Toro is a name in Hollywood, like, regardless of what type of genre you watch, like, Benicio del Toro is a name that you recognize for sure. And you had the opportunity to have a character that could persist in the universe if you wanted him to, but you chose to essentially turn him into like a bumbling idiot kind of guy who eventually coughs up what he says he's going to cough up with the codes to get into, or like get past the tractor beam for the big capital ship that Rey needs to get on. But I just, it's confusing why that character was dismissed within the same film from the guy who made him, aka, you know, like Ryan chose to just get rid of this dude. And the more like, and I don't think that there was enough morality behind like, oh, look, he taught us so much and then he dipped, because he really didn't. It was just like, he's an asshole and we know he's an asshole, and then he left still being an asshole. Like,
exactly.
I could see it if it was like, this guy's a douche and gives you what he want, like what you want, and then like you know, like there's a little bit of animosity towards him from the good guys, but then like, you know, he shows up and like ends up kind of helping you out in an unexpected way, and then you can kind of keep him along.
Could be in the next Rey film. That Rey film ain't happening either, Cole Callan. Just take it to the bank.
We'll see about that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, this wasn't, I feel like a character like this like morally gray hacker, like that's essentially what he was. They call him a slicer, but he's a hacker. Like, that could be somebody who was like useful to the resistance.
He could have been a Han Solo, right? A fucking bum scoundrel they find, and then he realizes, like, you know what? My skills would be better served helping the little guy. No, he just, as Nick said, maintains the arsehole throughout. All right.
Yeah, just weird choices.
See you, DJ. You have been forgotten by us all. All right, up next on our list of the most forgettable characters from the Disney era Star Wars. And shit, this group, this is a group of characters. They probably should have been number one. They're up there with Constable Zuvio, but even more tragic considering how heavily involved they were in Kylo's initial story, even in Rey's vision. We're talking about the Knights of Ren, all right? They were hyped as Kylo's elite dark side warriors, only to have them stand around silently and essentially posing until they finally get some action by getting wrecked by Ben Solo in The Rise of Skywalker. They looked cool, but they had all the depth of a Hot Topic window display, as we like to say at SWTS HQ. So, yeah, man, I mean, listen, these guys were marketed. Look how far they went into designing individual unique looking costumes. I think a few of them even got names. They're supposed to be this big force behind Kylo, and really outside of the comic books where they get flushed out and you actually get to meet Ren, the original Ren, they're nothing burgers. And JJ
Yeah.
tried to salvage them in Tross, but outside of ganging up on Chewie and cheating there, they literally just posed on a plateau while a helicopter did a cinematic shot. And then Ben kicks the living shit out of him at the end when he decides to be a good guy. So huge waste of potential, highly forgettable, even though they look pretty damn cool.
Yeah, this is the one that kind of upsets me the most because it had, like you said, huge waste of potential. And I don't know if this just was one of the things that got lost between the two writing teams that were working on this trilogy.
This is one Ryan was like, "Oh, Knights of Ren, don't need them."
Yeah, it was literally like, "Hey, I'm giving you this." Like JJ's like, I've created this cast of characters that clearly we've put some work into, and he was just like, I don't. And then Ryan was like, nah, I think we're just gonna skip these guys. And like, there's potential. The comic books, like you said, give them a little bit more flesh, but like still, at the end of the day, you have these guys who look incredible, and that could be really fucking cool and give a lot of context into Kylo's background and like how he interacts with these people and what his role is within this organization and so much stuff. Where did they come from? Like going into the Wrens and everything that you mentioned. Like I don't know why Ryan didn't feel like they needed, like, that they couldn't fit into his film. I don't know if like perhaps TLJ was basically like already pretty fleshed out. And
Bro,
then
JJ created them and barely used them in TFA. I think don't they only show up in the rainy vision of Rey?
Yeah, and I guess what his thought was is like we tease them here, they get a little bit more flesh in TLJ.
Yeah, oops.
And then
should have sent those notes over to Johnson's camp, bro.
Yeah, and then Rots, maybe they play a bigger role because they try, like you said, they essentially try to bring them back in Rots when they like kidnap Chewie and stuff like that on Pisana and everything. But it was just, this one really like got me because I was like, dude, these are like really well designed characters that you've literally just shit on.
Yeah, it's like Cole Cowan 80 saying here, like, can anyone name one of them? No, I mean, there's one he had a name, and it's like Pug Face. I'm being dead serious. It's not a name. It's like Helmet Head, something like that. It's very, very generic. And these guys, you have to, they're a bit formidable. I mean, in the comic run, not even the one with Ben Solo, but before that, like Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. These motherfuckers go to Mustafar to fuck with Vader willingly. Like, willingly go mess with Vader and try to steal something from him in his castle. Okay? So, they had the potential. It's been wasted. Hence, they have been forgotten.
Crazy.
All right, up next on our list of forgettable Star Wars characters from the Disney era. Not JJ's best friend in real life. This is like, I wish I was this guy because I mean, him and JJ grew up, and he's pretty much had a career because of JJ. I'm talking about Greg Grunwald, aka Mr. Snap Wexley. All right, this dude appeared in all 3 sequel films. Okay. This dude was meant to be the bridge from the Aftermath novels to the screen. Instead, he's just another generic Resistance pilot. Hell, Nick, even his death in The Rise of Skywalker gets overshadowed by literally everything else going on. He blows up in the distance. Like, it's not even a focused blow up. He doesn't even get like a Porkins explosion. He just it's like a little speck that Poe sees out his window.
Yeah,
so, Snap has been forgotten by everybody, even his creators and his real life best friend.
Dude, it's weird to me, right? Like, because I thought that when Snap was brought into it, knowing the connection to JJ and how they've worked together in the past, that he was going to essentially become the new Wedge Antilles. I was like,
I was going to say he's a Wedge.
Yeah, like this is sequel trilogy Wedge, and like that works. Like Greg's a fine actor, like he did good work in Heroes, and he's had prominent roles in other other properties as well. But like, dude, what? Like, how do you just? Yeah, I don't again, like I don't understand how it's such a clear pathway that this guy is going to be like, hey, he's going to be Poe's wingman. He's going to be like Poe's right hand guy or something like that. Just how Wedge was Luke's right hand guy. Like it was an easy thing to follow along with. And then, like you said, like he just kind of like gets summarily blown up in the Battle of Exegol. And then I think technically there was a eulogy for him by Poe
in Fortnite. where was this?
Like I don't know where the fuck this happened, but like if you go on Snap Wexley's Wikipedia page and his real name is Temin, the first thing up there is Poe Dameron eulogizes Snap Wexley. He fought at the Battle of Jakku and ended the Empire, and at the Battle of Exegol that ended the First Order, and in between and 100 other fights, he was always right there doing whatever needed to be done. When you're out there flying through hell, just trying to survive, nothing matters more than knowing the pilot on your wing has your back. Nothing to Snap Wexley, best wingman I've ever seen. Like, why? Where did that come up?
I
like,
say that's either a Wikipedia editor just kind of fleshing it out, or a comic book or something. Come on.
Yeah, let me see the source. The source listed on this one. It's like, dude, like it was in one of the books. I think it was in one of the books. But yeah, man, it's weird to me that like you had it was in. Yeah, like literally, like it was just I don't know, man, just fucking crazy. Not in the movie though. It was in a Star Wars comic run, Star Wars number 25 that came out in 2020. So you probably read it, Matt.
2020. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that movie came out in 2019. It's been so long. I'm like, shit, dude.
Dude, it's wild to me. But yeah, you are forgotten, Snap Wexley.
See you, Snap, you little bitch. You little bitch. Oh, that's hilarious. Hold on. The stream crashed on one side, so just rebuilding some windows because yay, YouTube. I wish I could figure that out. I've just gotten lazy in my life. I mean, our website, there's a reason I don't plug it anymore because it's falling apart and I'm the admin and I don't give a shit. All right, Nick, like you said, Snap, beat it, pal. You have been forgotten. Up next on our list, we got Darcy. And if you see her picture, you'll definitely know who she is. And she was in all 3 movies. She even survives all 3 sequel films. She gives commands in the movie. She stands around looking important and looking very serious, and really that's about it. Guess what, Nick? Her title is Vice Admiral Darcy, but she feels more like the ultimate placeholder resistance leader, like insert resistance leader here in the storyboards. She didn't have any real arc, no memorable lines, and there's really no reason to remember her. I think the only thing that caused some fans, a certain group of fans, to notice her is she had like a brief hug with a female at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, and that upset some people. So that's our friend Darcy, a forgettable resistance leader.
Yeah, Larma. So her first name is Larma Darcy. To me, this
is the
feels
token gay character. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh my god. But to me, she's most like Torrin Farr, right? Like Torrin Farr, who had much less screen time than Darcy, but kind of filled the same role as like
Torrin's even more. Like I'd say even more memorable than Darcy here.
Yeah.
At least
you know her line like.
Fire.
Stand by, ion control, fire. Like, boom, got it. But yeah, I mean, it's another one of those things. It's like you're not gonna like every character is not gonna be memorable, right? Like there's characters that are supposed to be in there that are just like, hey, they play their role. You're probably not gonna remember them, whatever. But this one felt like it could have been a little bit more forward since she was in multiple. I believe she was only in TLJ in Rise of Skywalker and Tross, but I feel like she could have had a little bit more of a prominent role given the fact that we focused on the resistance a lot during those films. But it was, I don't know if it was just like they couldn't decide between her and Connix which one to give primary screen time to, and then neither of them got primary screen time. I mean, like honestly, you could have put Connix on here because it's Billy Lord and it's, that's Leia, or not Leia, that's Carrie's daughter and stuff.
Correct.
But it feels like they could have consolidated the Connix role and the Darcy role into one, and then given that person more prominence, a
No,
little bit more
I mean,
screen
again,
time.
that Connix is another one we definitely miffed on, that's for sure. But like I said, sometimes Nick and I, we're old, we get tired. We didn't feel like doing another 18 to 20 breakdown, so you get 15. It is what it is. Come on. We're old men. Like I said, if you want quality, you know what channel to go watch. We are neither quality or quantity over at the SWTS. But you're right, man. I mean, she's a vice admiral, but who's the only vice admiral people remember from the sequel trilogy? Holdo. So
Yeah,
again, Ryan's like, oh
yeah,
yeah, you made this character, JJ. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make mine with a more famous actress and give her purple hair and put her in a gown, even though she's a vice admiral. So they'll remember mine over yours. Plus, I gave her a maneuver that has now been named after her. So yeah, Darcy, you just you should have stepped in front of Holdo and let your person shine. Okay, you need to sometimes step up in a room of your equals, of your colleagues, and let them know that you too need to be seen. But because you did not, you have been forgotten. All right, here we go. We got another character from the brass of the resistance movement. I honestly had no clue this guy even had a name. I remember him from Crate. I don't think he's the salt licker, but he definitely is standing there in the trenches. And we are talking about Major Emmett. So he, again, like Darcy, was in all 3 sequel films. He was in books. His full name is Major Calhoun Emmett. But he, even though he's present for all these resistance operations, I don't even think people would know he's in the movie. I mean, outside of this, the actor having this luscious white mane, that's really the only thing that stands out. Not the character. It's more like what the guy that played him looks like. He has more lines and tie-in materials than in the actual films, where he's mostly just, like we said, a generic resistance officer, insert number. So, yeah, apparently this Major Emmett's a big deal, but even people like you and me, Nick, geeks, fanboys, nerds, really didn't even know his name until we curated this list. So yeah, he's forgettable.
Yeah, I mean, he was apparently one of the
Nova.
primary members of the resistance to recruit Poe Dameron to the resistance. So like that was pretty big. Obviously a lot of this stuff was probably written after the character was introduced in the films, so you had like, oh well, this is somebody that we can like insert here, fill in here. It also says that Emmett was a part of the Andor strike team, so he was on fucking Andor too. Like this dude was everywhere.
That's what
like
I mean.
He was, like he was an important character. Obviously, you can't give spotlight to everybody. Definitely memorable seeing him, essentially where you remember him from. More than likely he was in like a briefing room in TFA, but where you probably remember him from is from TLJ, where all the other troops are in the trench, and then he's the one guy standing
they pan up to him,
and he's got the binoculars looking out at the oncoming first order troops coming in.
Remember, Nick,
this is,
they're dragging something. They're dragging their own vehicle because they forgot to put wheels on it.
It's just the dumbest vehicle design ever. But I think that's also one of the first times that you see the red surface level of Crate as his footsteps leave behind red imprints. So,
well, there you go, Emmett. There's your contribution to Star Wars lore. You are red footstep guy, binocular guy, which henceforth makes you forgettable guy. So, see you later, pal. You have been deleted from our gray matter as super fans. I can't believe we're going to do this to one of the most iconic characters from the sequel trilogy. He does have a full name. I'm going to try to pronounce it as I introduce what everyone has affectionately or cheekily called Broom Boy. His name is Talisibeth Enwadang Esterhazy. I don't even know what the hell that means or what drugs the person was on when they came up with it, but that is an insane name. So we'll just stick with Broom Boy, all right? He multiple scenes in the movie. He ends the damn movie. He ends TLJ. Literally, the credits roll as he force pulls his broom and looks up after he stares at his resistance medallion. But this hopeful tease we are left with of this young stable boy pretty much goes nowhere. Again, Broom Boy has become a symbol of nothing. He was abandoned, like a lot of things in this sequel trilogy, because we had the director handoff. And outside of memes, he's been all but forgotten by the fans.
Yeah. I will say that when I typed in that name, that Talis Beth name that you said, completely different character on Wikipedia. It's this is like a Galactic Republic era human female Jedi Padawan that comes up.
So then we might have had a slight hallucination with the AI on the name there, but hey, you got Broom Boy.
So that's why I was like,
it's
Broom Boy. It's Broom Boy. We're just Broom Boy. So here's my thought on Broom Boy. Honestly, like even how TLJ ended, there's not an easy way to bring that character into episode 9 because there's no Jedi training academy yet. There's no place. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, nobody was there to see that on whatever the fuck that planet was called now, Canto Bight. Like nobody was there to see it. That was just like showing that, like, I guess was supposed to show like the Force is coming back into the galaxy and there are people out there,
right? And that you don't need to be a Skywalker to wield it.
Yeah,
and that was Johnson's big push with Rey. I think he was trying to like, hey, we can have powerful Force users that are not of this genealogy, but then they're like, no, we can't. She at least has to be a Palpatine, then she can equal a Skywalker and fuck off. Somehow he's returned. Go ahead, sorry.
The only thing that I could see happening with this character is if we ever do get a movie that takes place in the aftermath
that's what the fans been saying in the chat.
Rots. Yeah, like just get him in there, have him as one of the trainees. Like obviously it probably won't be the same actor given how long that it's been between when this movie,
Nick, it'll be perfect because they'll just say that 10 years have passed since the rise of Skywalker, and hey, he'll be 10 years older. Boom. Perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the best way to handle it in terms of I don't think Tross follow-up made sense, but hey, if that movie ever happens, get him in there, like put him in there as one of the trainees, or you could even say like, hey, you remember, like he could be a Padawan already. He could already have gone through his training, and then somebody just commented, it's like, hey, remember when we found you on Canto Bight? Like just give him a little piece or something like that. So
it's funny, like the AI was hell bent on, like it had a hard on for Broom Boy being in this list, so much so I'm going to share one of the images it created. I didn't even ask it to do this. It is fantastic. Look at this shit. All right, it's up on the stream now. Look at that. Remember me? It's Broom Boy in a Jedi tunic, and his broom is like a lightsaber. It is fantastic. The only reason I didn't keep it is because my AI we worked through it a bit yesterday. It's really having a problem putting text on images and actually having the text not be clipped out. And I'm like, hey, asshole, why do you keep doing this? Because these are great images, but you're screwing up the text. But look at that. That is some fantastic. Honestly, Nick, this could be a meme even with the remember being cut off, because it just kind of adds to the forgetfulness or forgettableness. It almost
looks like the bristles on his broom are like little lightsabers.
That's what I mean.
That's the new weapon. That's the new weapon is the light broom.
I applauded the AI. Like, I'm like, you know what? That's fucking cheeky as hell, but can you please get the damn words where us humans can read them? Outside of that, even ChatGPT is trolling Broom Boy. So this was unprompted. I did not ask for this image. I asked for ideas to use for thumbnails, and this is where the AI went. So that was awesome. All right, back to the list here. Sorry, Broom Boy. You have been forgotten. All right, so we're going to move out of the sequel trilogy, and now we're going to kind of turn our eye of Sauron to the Star Wars stories, the Disney Plus shows, that type of stuff. So characters from there. So first up from that genre of Disney Star Wars, and this is one I was like, I don't know. I mean, yes, but no, yes, but no, yes, but no. We ended up running with them, and it is Bodhi Rook, right? Bodhi Rook.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the pilot, if you forgot. He's a pilot that defected from the Empire in Rogue One and really should have been a standout character, famous actor playing him. But outside of that, we mostly get this nervous energy Bodhi. You know,
Hmm.
he especially after he gets Borgali'd, he's even more damaged in the head. So his arc feels limited at that point. It kind of gets buried under the stronger leads of the Rogue One strike team. He's definitely crucial to the plot, but still, for the most part, lack of dialogue, whatever you want to say, kind of feels like an afterthought. So I think, you know, we could have found other characters versus Bodhi, but if you really do think critically about this character and kind of how he was initially presented, he does kind of fall off the map in Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best one. In my opinion, it's the best one to choose from Rogue One because, like, you remember Baze, you remember Chirrut. The way they went out was just wild. Like, it's a very memorable death. You remember Cassian, you remember Jin. Obviously, Cassian has a lot more now that's on film and out there for people to look at. You remember all of the different characters that were associated with the Rogue One strike team, even the ancillary characters. But Bodhi really is, even though he was kind of like the linchpin first one, he's the one that, like, he died essentially because somebody threw a grenade in a ship and he couldn't get out. Like,
Yep.
and like his death was like not memorable, whereas everybody else on that strike team went out like a champ. And like,
And it's wild,
it's,
Nick, because he did have a crucial plot move before his death.
yeah,
Like, he gets those comms going. Without what Bodhi does,
yep.
nothing happens. But it's a very unceremonious end for this character.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what really screwed him. Like, when you have Chirrut and Baze going out with the essentially like, I'm one with the force is with, like, that, you're never gonna forget that.
Hell
And
yeah,
then
dude.
like Cassian and Jin on the
Another
beach, the
one.
explosion come, boom, gone. Like,
Hell, even
and
even
then you're
Krennic
like,
gets sniped by fucking Tarkin. Like, Tarkin literally
yeah,
aimed the laser, ensuring he was gonna directly hit Tarkin before the beam hit the planet.
yeah, yeah. Krennic got absolutely blasted. So
He got
yeah, I
range
mean, Saw
troopered
Gerrera.
just like Cassian did at the beginning of Andor season 2.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, like, this dude, like, really good role, very important to the plot of Rogue One and to the ending that we saw, like you said, getting comms up. But like, honestly, he just wasn't a memorable character when it comes down to who he was put next to. And that's just how it goes. Just how it goes.
Yeah, Cole. We like I said, he did play his part, but as Nick said, if you really think about it, when you think about the other heroes of that strike team, he is forgettable. So much so, he was the only main character that Hasbro did not make an action figure of from Rogue One when it initially
Dang.
came out. They eventually released a Bodhi Rook, Nick, but it might have been 3 to 4 years after the film. So that
Yeah.
kind of proves our case here.
Even the toy manufacturers forgot about him.
Yep. So sorry, Bodhi. Sorry, Cole. He's staying in the land of the forgotten characters. Okay, I lied. That was from the Disney standalone movies. Now we're moving into Disney animated series, and we'll eventually get to the live action. So let's see who we can find to be forgettable from the animated series. So, you know, think like I guess Rebels would be in there, Bad Batch, stuff like that, Tales. All right, looks like we're going the Bad Batch. In this one, I will agree with Nick. I mean, she kind of played a major role in the first season and a little bit in the second, but by the third, pretty much forgotten. We're talking about Sid, okay? She was the Bad Batch's sketchy mission giver early on, so she did appear often in many episodes. But really, most of us just remember her as being selfish and hard to trust. She even betrayed the Batch, but it didn't quite feel as emotionally taxing as it should have. She more or less felt like a recycled trope of a character than just a unique Star Wars character with personality. And I do agree with this. I mean, she was kind of a main. She was getting into it, even philosophizing sometimes with Omega and in the Bad Batch. And yes, she did betray them, but that's it. Like, it just disappears. The Empire never goes to her. I mean, she just completely gets deleted from the last season of the Bad Batch. So highly forgettable.
Yeah. Honestly, I put this more on the last season of the Bad Batch because there were a lot of misses in that season, in my opinion. Like, I enjoyed the show up to the last season. I think the last season they either felt rushed or they knew that it wasn't continuing, so they were just trying to, whatever, just
Agreed.
like finish this thing up, boom, get it done. I do think that Sid was relatively interesting when you were first there. Like she was really one like she was a character that opened up to Omega early, and really got the batch to kind of lay their guard down leading up to that betrayal, like you had mentioned. It would have been really nice to see like a comeuppance for her at the very least in season 3, like something that actually closed out that character's storyline and said like, oh look, this is what happens when you
She
betray
should
the
have
good
got. Yeah,
guys.
she should have got.
Yeah, like Crosshair comes up to her when she's looking for, when he's looking for the batch or something like that, and gets info, and then she gets taken out, or something to summarily end her character
Bro,
arc.
we
But
didn't even see her betrayal. Let's just discuss. Like
yeah,
the CX is like, oh yeah, I talked to the old man Dell. It's like, okay, well I guess Sid ratted him out, and that's it. Like literally, just they didn't even let her do the betrayal on screen.
yeah. So I'm not really sure what happened in that last season and what like led to the decisions creatively that was going on there, but I appreciate that she had a decent little arc in the earlier parts of Bad Batch, but definitely got to a point where it was the writers even forgot her. They were like, all right, well, we don't have time to wrap up her story in any meaningful
Well,
way,
like
so
you
just get
said,
out of here.
they forgot a lot of things, like
They
Cody's
forgot a
ultimate
lot.
fate and Echo just chilling. It's like, it is a shame. You are right. I mean, I think I was a little more soft on Bad Batch final season than you were when we were living through it. But with hindsight, I love the stinger. Older Omega saying goodbye to her dad. But outside of that, it's like, meh. Did not quite live up to my expectation. All right, Sid, you are forgettable. Let's see the other forgettable animated characters we may have. Oh no! Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. This one hurts. This one hurts Nick and I because I think we were the only two Star Wars creators on this freaking planet that actively covered Star Wars Resistance. Literally so much so that we had a dedicated show just to Star Wars Resistance. This was back in the day when we were nuts and we'd record, 2 or 3 shows a fucking week. This was before we live stream, but you look on our channel. Even YouTube identified we talk so much about Resistance, it said, hey, this is a podcast you guys have. So yes, it is marked as a podcast on our channel. If you ever want to, get nostalgic and watch through the series and listen to our old breakdowns, I highly encourage you. But when it comes down to it, we got to kind of take in the perspective of the full fandom. Resistance was not loved, meaning it probably had a lot more forgettable characters than the one I'm about to talk about. And this one does hurt me because I loved Kaz. I found him to be a unique character, a unique lead. I always called him like the klutzy hero because he always fucked something up before he got a win in every episode. Plus, his voice actor, Christopher Sean, actually would engage with our socials because we covered Resistance. So us, we're shills. We'll definitely say whatever they want when they engage and make us feel seen. But listen, I mean, he was Resistance lead. He's the lead character, but somehow he, to most people, was one of the least interesting characters from that series. I mean, he was meant to be the next generation's underdog hero, but his goofy tone and inconsistent writing made him feel out of place even on his own show. So, as we have teased, most fans were not like us. They didn't even start the series, let alone finish it. So, as painful as it is to say, Kaz is, sadly, Nick, highly forgettable to the fandom.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this show is forgettable, honestly. Like, I didn't think it was necessarily bad. It was definitely aimed at a younger audience. So, the people who engage with Star Wars the most, especially around this time, like Star Wars was heavily trafficked by like older or like, original trilogy, prequel trilogy fans at that time. And like the younger crowd hadn't really come back to it yet. But he was a very unique, like, type of hero, like a bumbling kind of like it was that hero where he would just like accidentally fix things, or like he would just stumble into a solution or something like that oftentimes. So it was such a weird show to watch, Resistance, knowing that it was also like a link within the sequel trilogy. But yeah, Kaz overall, he was entertaining to watch to a certain degree, but then after that, like once the show was clearly not a success, they just kind of let him go and really chose to just like, keep the character around in a roundabout way. I think like his father showed up later
Oh,
in
his
live
father
action.
may show up on this show tonight, Nick.
That
Okay,
is very true.
there's
That
a
is
little
very true.
tease
But
for
yeah,
everyone there. Yeah, it's
but
a
yeah,
bummer.
Kaz
Poor
did make it.
Kaz. Sorry, pal. You're forgettable, as was your entire series. That was meant to be kind of a companion to the sequel trilogy until they're like, you know what? We don't even need to keep going after. Because Nick, does it go all the way up to TLJ or through TLJ? I forget. I think it goes
It
through TLJ, doesn't it?
It from what I can remember, I don't think it goes through TLJ, but it goes up to the or at the very least, you see the destruction of the Hosnian system, and you see
Definitely,
like,
definitely.
yeah, you see that projected. You get Hux's speech when that happens. So I don't know how far it gets into TLJ, but it doesn't make it all the way through that, and obviously doesn't make it to Trials. Honestly, what they should have done is they should have just done what they did with Bad Batch. Just like stick to that animation style. You know that people like it already. Take out like and just make it for that same audience that Clone Wars was for.
Okay,
Like
so it does
just
go
do
through
that.
the end of TLJ, confirmed from
Oh
Based and
wow.
Brazen. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, they
it's
just quit. Like everything else in the sequel trilogy, like, yeah, who cares? Why bridge TLJ to Tross? We don't need it, even though we just did it for TFA and TLJ. Hey, we have many
yeah.
episodes where Nick and I lament some of the creative decisions made with the sequel trilogy at the top. Not just blaming Kathy, but Bob, everyone involved when they hatched that thing. With hindsight, yeah, we're all geniuses, but damn, they needed us in the room back then in like what
Yeah, yeah.
2015 or 2012, whenever all
Yeah.
this was being planned out. Okay,
Just like simply to ask the question, have Ryan and JJ not talked to each other?
right,
Like
yeah.
that's the
Are these
only question
guys?
that need to be asked.
Do they even have a working relationship? Are there agreements? Are there things you're forcing them to continue on throughout the trilogy that you know need to be there? No, fuck it. They're artists. They'll figure it out. And sure enough, they did. All right, so we have no, just kidding. We're going to be moving out of the Disney era animated films to find more forgettable characters from that era. Now, finally, as I teased too early, we'll be looking at the Disney Plus live action shows. All right, and we are starting with a character that debuted in Mandalorian Season 3. Seemed like they had a pretty big role, played by a somewhat known actress. She's popped up in other big sci-fi type of projects. And I bet a lot of you, if we did not have her name on the screen right now, you probably wouldn't have remembered her, essentially verifying her place on this list. And we're talking about Elia Kane, okay? So again, if you remember her, Mando Season 3, she was supposedly a key piece in the New Republic subplot of The Mandalorian. She was set up as a covert operative for the remnant of the Empire. But after checking in with Moff Gideon that one time, she essentially disappears halfway through the season. Her storyline does not get resolved. It's like, does she keep being a spy? What the hell happens? Why was she not there helping Gideon on Mandalorian? So she had all this build-up, Nick, and she ends up just being little more than a narrative dead end when all was said and done in Mando Season 3.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see if they will incorporate this character into Mandalorian and Grogu or like the live action side of things, or potentially Ahsoka season 2 in some way, given the fact that we're gonna have some New Republic conflict going on with Thrawn coming back into the galaxy and everything like that. I think that there's an opportunity for this character to still make a comeback, but given where we are now and how long it's been since we saw her, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, she almost has to. She's a fucking mole in the upper part of the New Republic after being... You gotta remember, Nick, she started way back in Mando, like Season 2 or something. She was on Gideon's Bridge. She went through the New Republic reconditioning and actually got a role in the New Republic. that's kind of big shit. So if
Yeah.
she doesn't show up in
Yeah.
Mando and Grogu, it's pretty safe to say she has been forgotten by everyone, if not canceled. The only other potential place for her to reappear would be Ahsoka season 2, when we are in the known galaxy, clearly not on Peridia with our lovely ladies and Force Ghost Anakin. No. So we shall see, but I have a feeling because, as Nick teased, let's face it, there were supposed to be more seasons of the Mando. That's not happening anymore. It's turned into a movie, so I have a feeling she is forgotten for good. All right, moving right along in our forgotten characters of the Disney era of Star Wars, that is, and we're mostly right now looking at the Disney Plus shows. So up next, another one that I believe debuted in, I don't know if it was Mando Season 3. Yeah, Mando Season 3.
Season 3, yeah.
Now, when we talk about this character, you remember we're talking through the lens of his live-action canon introduction. I know some of you Thrawn homers probably have Captain Pellaeon posters in your rooms that you used to pleasure yourself to. But if you think about it, I mean, outside of his Legends appearance, when he shows up in The Mandalorian, he's at the Shadow Council meeting, and all he's sitting there is essentially prophesizing that Thrawn is coming, and that's it. He doesn't really get into details. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm talking to him. I just feel it. And more or less, Nick, this guy that was such a huge Legends character is kind of reduced to a glorified hype man of Thrawn's. And so far, there has been zero follow-up. It would have been nice to even get a stinger at the close of Ahsoka Season 1 when Thrawn does make it back, of having Pellaeon pop up on his holo pad like, oh, Grand Admiral, I knew you'd be back. But no.
Yeah.
We forgot about this guy. So what do you think of the forgettableness of the captain?
Yeah, I mean, he was in Thrawn Treat. Like, they were setting this character up to be like, you know, the Thrawn right-hand guy, or one of the Thrawn right-hand guys when he gets back into the known galaxy. He was in Rebels, like we know that. He was in Thrawn Treason, Mando. So again, like, I kind of have the same feeling about this guy as I do about our last character that we talked about, Elia Kane. Like, I feel like in Ahsoka Season 2, he's got to be there. Like, there's no way that he's not in it. And maybe when he is, you know, reintroduced to us in Ahsoka Season 2, then we can actually say like, oh, well, he had like an impact of some sort. But up to this point, given how much delay we've had in the further seasons for Ahsoka Season 2, and potentially in like whatever's going to happen with Mando, because, you know, like, I assume that if Thrawn is still a factor in the galaxy during the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, there may be some involvement there. But I mean, given the plot synopsis that we had, probably not. It seems like Thrawn may just be dismissed very easily in Ahsoka Season 2, which is hard to imagine that, like, you have all this buildup of this character coming in and he doesn't even make it into the fucking Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which would be nuts. But I expect to see him in Ahsoka Season 2. He's got to be there, and I assume that he'll have some sort of impact once Thrawn is back in the known galaxy. But yeah, to literally just be like a hologram that pops up for what, less than a minute, is pretty wild.
Yeah, you hit on something there I want to like poke at real quick. If this dude does not show up in the Mando Grogu movie, if there's no mention of Thrawn in the Mando and Grogu movie, can we officially say that movie has jumped the shark?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in Ahsoka Season 2, and I believe
it shouldn't matter, though, because Thrawn is back in the known galaxy where Mando is going to be a Ranger of the New Republic. So unless they specifically say 1 year before Thrawn's return, which shouldn't happen because these things are the same timeline,
and it's the same people making them. Like,
it would make no sense. It's like, what? You've got the big bad wolf has come back. The one Hera was warning everyone about. He's back, and we're not even going to discuss that threat. We're just going to send Mando and Grogu after random trooper outposts.
Yeah. What is the release cadence for those two? Do you happen to know if Ahsoka Season 2 is supposed to come out before the movie?
No, way after, at least. The movie is May of 26. So
Gotcha.
That's when
So
the
yeah,
movie
so
comes
pretty
out. They're just shooting Ahsoka now. Like if you go follow
gotcha.
Natasha
Yeah.
Rosario sometimes, or even Amon, you'll get some shots on
Yeah.
Instagram from where they're filming. So that isn't even wrap filming. So they're gonna take most of 25 to shoot it.
Yeah.
Then
This
post will
is
be most of 26. So Ahsoka season 2, I think at best would be end of 26. More than likely, it's going to be an early quarter 27 run.
27. Yeah. This is the problem that we brought up with the TV universe so much, is that it's hard to track when things are taking place if you're not a hardcore fan, right?
Even
Like,
John didn't know, Nick. I mean, he's the one that bumblefucked the time spread from season 2 to season 3 because of the Grogu separation. Felt like it was a day, and he's like, "Oh
yeah,
no, it's been like a
like,
year, maybe, or maybe 2, or maybe 1, maybe 2. I don't know. Who gives a
yeah,
shit?"
it's like, dude, when you're doing these style of universe, and this is where Kevin Feige would have come in and been like, no, dude, you have to have established timelines and things have to make sense. So like when this movie comes out, if Thrawn is completely uninvolved and there's no mention of it, and people are going to be like, well, what happened the last time we saw some of these characters, the last time we were in this timeline? Like, this dude just came back from a different fucking universe and brought a whole zombie army with him. Like, why are we worried about Mando and Grogu tracking down some fucking Hutt's son? That's like, has nothing to do with anything that we've ever seen in the TV shows. Like, I'm really worried that that's going to happen, and that like the Thrawn stuff is going to be like, yeah, Thrawn's back, but we got to go track down this Hutt kid, and then we'll get back to
Oh
Thrawn
yeah, I
stuff
forgot
later.
about Hut Kid. Shit, you're right.
Yeah, like we got to
Oh
go track
man,
down Rada the
listen,
Hutt. Like,
I ain't gonna shit on it. I got faith that Mando Grogu's gonna be a banger. I hope so. If not, man,
I hope so.
we might have to get on the bandwagon of what is Disney doing with Star Wars at this point in time. It's hard to just
And
put blind faith in our boy Filoni at this point if they bork
I mean,
this movie.
I really think that Filoni has a role in Lucasfilm. I think his role is probably a little bit too big for him, is what I'll say. Is they need somebody that has a little bit more organizational quality
Right,
to
he's a
them.
creative. He's not a manager of people.
Yeah, and like it, I don't know. I hope it's good, and I hope that they find a way to make this not interact with the fact that one of the biggest villains in Star Wars has now re-entered the universe, and your two primary characters in this whole timeline are chasing some random bullshit. I really hope that they can skirt that, but it's like
Maybe the Hut thing
it's
just
getting a
kicks
little weird.
things off. Who knows? Maybe that's what.
Yeah.
That's the MacGuffin.
Maybe the
hopefully.
HUD is working for Thrawn now. Maybe that's
Yeah.
maybe that's how they
Who
cross it over.
Who knows? But I
yeah.
promise you, once we get trailers for that movie, you know our dumbasses will be sitting here breaking it down for an hour and a half, and we'll give you the best insights that no one will even hear, so they won't know that where to get the best insights. But that's kind of our tagline. All right, let's keep things moving on here. We spent a lot of time on the captain. I like that little tangent, though, young Nick. Good call. All right, up next, we talked about his son. And quite frankly, when this dude showed up in Ahsoka Season 3 in live action, he was a glaring asshole. Like a mega asshole. So we're talking about Senator Hamato Ziono, Kaz's father. All right, so he's there to essentially represent galactic bureaucracy in Ahsoka. He's the guy that's shitting on all of Hera's ideas, and definitely feels like he would love to shut down Congress at any time he could if he didn't want a certain vote to take place. But really, I mean, he's just sitting there whining the whole time about, yeah, Thrawn, non-existent, shut up. Hera even dunks on him left and right, so much so that they kind of want to punish her. But again, even with a connection to the animated show Resistance, because he also appeared in there briefly talking to Kaz, this senator, not just for his attitude, the way he was kind of portrayed in live action, is instantly forgettable.
Yeah, he was a relatively off-putting character, and the funny thing is like he's completely different than his son, than Kaz. Very, very different, like in personality wise and in moral code, it seems, as well. And I think that, I mean, I guess that the character was designed to be kind of hateable, which is similar to what they did to some, like, some characters within that senatorial staff in the prequel trilogy, you're like, man, this guy is just an idiot. Like he's like set up for you to hate them. And I think that they did enough to like make you remember like, oh, that's the guy who was an idiot during the court martial for Hera. But overall, I think that like unless it comes back around, you know what I would really like to see is this guy get
This
killed
guy's a
by
Star Wars Mitch McConnell. Nice base.
kind of, yeah, Mike Johnson, any of those guys.
Yeah, except he can actually talk without his whole body freezing for 5 minutes and his aides needing to literally like weekend at Bernie's him away from a podium.
Yeah,
so.
just like pull him away.
Your home state senator just did that this week. That Kennedy goof. Literally, he was giving an interview and just was like, bah!
Yeah,
like we need term limits in Congress, people. I know it's never going to happen now,
like,
but enough with these old people.
Yeah, it's like, okay, once you hit 80 years old, you can't do this anymore.
Once you hit fucking 60, you should be washed out.
Like honestly, the retirement age of 65 should apply to senators. That's as far as you go. But yeah, I mean, I would really like to see this guy get caught up in whatever happens when Thrawn gets back, and potentially like be that moment of like, oh, you wanted to like talk shit, now you find out. Like,
yeah, I hope Hera walks
around
in and be like, hey, Hamato, kiss my sweet peach, bitch.
Yeah, and like, or he's like out in his, like he's like on a shuttle that's like going from planet to planet or something like that, and it gets raided by somebody like Thrawn's crew, or gets blown up, or like by the Chimera or something like that in attack. Like that's like Star Wars needs a little bit more of the fuck around and find out kind of stuff.
All right,
like
I dig it.
It doesn't happen too often, but I think for this guy in particular, it would be a good next step.
Let's Fafo Ziano in the movie then, or Ahsoka season 2, whatever comes first. We're down for this forgettable senator to get his, what is it, comeuppance. There we go.
Yes, his comeuppance.
All right, next forgettable character, and honestly, I did forget this character existed.
Yeah, me too.
It made me feel bad because it's from the best arc of arguably. I mean, I still like the Narkina prison, even though Nick hates Kino Loy. But most fans, I think, if you talk about Andor season 1, they're usually going to point to the Aldhani heist as being a highlight, or when the series really kind of captivated them. It was a fantastic 3-episode run. And we met a bunch of early rebels, and one of them was Lieutenant Gorn, who was the former Imperial. I mean, he essentially was an Imperial. He was kind of their in. He had this tragic love story. He was a traitor against the Empire in Andor, but somehow, when it all goes down, he just kind of blends into the background of the heist. Even his death, I mean, like I said, I forgot he even existed. His death lacks emotional weight, and as teased, he kind of gets overshadowed by every other rebel in those episodes. I mean, obviously Nemec is a huge one because of his manifesto. The other guy that wanted to turn traitor, he stands out because of his move, and then obviously Vel and Cinta because of their relationship. But yeah, Gorn, and I'm someone that remembers a lot of dumb shit from Star Wars, but I did not remember this guy, so he is an apt candidate for this list.
Yeah, dude, it's weird to me because this feels like a character that you would want to keep around as like a proof point of like, hey, like when you're speaking to the rebels, like if Gorn makes it back to a rebel base and eventually is on Yavin 4, like this is the guy you point to. You're like, this is what we're fighting for. Like this guy was a part of the Imperial superstructure and chose to go against it. Like he was a dissident. He was a traitor to the Empire and helped our cause to build the rebellion. And like, it's weird to me that like his fate, this is literally his Wikipedia last line in his bio. He was shot and killed during the raid when the rebel team was discovered by Corporal Kimsey. Like didn't even tell you who shot him. Like that's just it. Yeah, literally. Boom, done. Like it feels like this character was well designed and then they got to a point where it was like, well, we got to kill people, so let's just kill this guy that we actually put work into. I don't know. It feels like there should have been a little bit more life to him, but ultimately, like, I guess what Andor does really well is like show you the cost of war, the cost of rebellion, the cost of that kind of thing. So like
definitely a casualty of war.
Yeah, that's what he was left to. It's just an unceremonious death, as most are. in Andor. I mean, a lot of unceremonious deaths in Andor for sure.
I mean, think about our boy Serial. He's about to get his
Bro.
final revenge, then just gets straight popped in the dome. Not even
Boom.
expecting it. Side dome shot. All
That's
right,
right.
everyone. We are rounding third, about to head home in our list of the most forgettable characters from the Disney era Star Wars. We got one more to go. And unfortunately, it is Queen Reva, the third sister from the Kenobi series. And hear us out here. We're not, like the other sites that just are racist and didn't like her. But if you honestly think about this character, hell, I even own the hot toy of Reva. She had a huge role in Kenobi, but her motivations did shift wildly throughout, and her character never quite resonated the way I think the writers wanted her to. The performance was great. I mean, the actress was fantastic, but the writing didn't support it. So it kind of made the character of Reva feel more like a missed opportunity than a memorable Inquisitor. And again, the way she's left, she is a highly capable Force user that knows the inner workings of the Empire, and she's essentially disappears from that era of Star Wars. She, for all we know, or for what's been put out there, she was never involved in the rebellion. She never went to discuss anything else with Obi-Wan Kenobi. She just kind of fades off into the Tatooine desert. And therefore, the third sister, as great as the performance was, is a forgettable character.
Yeah, it's hard with these type of characters because you can't really do.
She got her ass beat by two farmers. Yep.
Hey, but yeah, I mean, like what we were talking about with like Xiono and Peleon and Kane, like those characters can realistically come back and have a little bit of a better ending if the writers so choose to. Reva's just in a spot where it's like realistically, what can you do? Like you immediately roll off of where we last see her into the OT. You can't just implant. I mean, they've already done it through the comic books and stuff like that, but like you can't put her in the middle of the OT timeline as a former Inquisitor and now neutral Force user that just fucking hangs out. Like the only place where it really makes sense for that character to pop back up again is like in the sequel timeline. And then like what do you like, how does she get involved? Like if she has stayed completely disconnected from the galaxy through all of the OT, like why would she come back for the sequel trilogy in any way? It's tough because I did like the character, but I just don't know what else you can do with her.
Yeah, the way she ended up, I mean, they would almost just been better letting her stick to her rage versus kind of having a change of heart, because we still have, from the time she's debuted, about 8-10 years to go until the Battle of Yavin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the kids were like 9 years old or something like that. So yeah,
it's like if they ever do a Kenobi season 2, I know I saw some people were like, "Oh, is this gonna happen?" If it's not on Reddit leaks, it's mostly horseshit. So I don't even know how she would fit in a second season of Kenobi, because that would definitely raise more questions about what Obi-Wan was up to. Like if you're hanging out with another like traditionally trained fucking Force user. I mean, she was a kid when Order 66 happened. She was at the goddamn temple. And you guys just hung out and nothing comes of it to better the galaxy or your mission. It makes no narrative sense. So, sorry, Reva. You are closing out our list of the most forgettable Star Wars characters from the Disney era of Star Wars. All right, that was a good time. Next week, we'll have a new special topic. But before we get there, obviously, we have to honor our fans as we do every week. We close out the show with our fan segment. 2 ways to get involved. We got the question of the week response, where you, again, just like to ask us anything, have to be out following us on our socials. Look for the prompts. Make sure to turn on notifications, because the algorithms will not share our content to you organically. So you actually have to manually get involved with us. We're one of the only content creators where the algorithm gives us zero help. But anyways, that's where we put the question. It's always going to be themed around what we are discussing that particular live stream. So naturally, Nick, we asked the fans, who do they find forgettable from the Disney era of Star Wars?
Nice. All right, kicking off the responses. We got Phil. Phil says Maz Kanata.
This was a good
I
one.
know
I
she
think he's got some
yeah.
good reason here.
Yeah, I know she appears in all three films, but they do so little with her. When we meet her in TFA, it feels like we should care more about her or have more of a history with her, but we don't. After that, she doesn't do much, so it's hard to latch on to the character for me. Yeah. Yeah, Maz was one that I was kind of interested in for sure, and
Well,
just never really got anything.
it's another one like Knights of Ren, the handoff, just she dies. I mean, remember how she's used in TLJ? It's literally
It's like a hologram of her in a battle. Yeah.
Yes, for like a minute, and that's it. And listen, Phil's 100% correct. Like Maz was teed up. She teed up a major mystery that still has not really been paid off on. How did she come in possession of the Skywalker family lightsaber? She told Han, that's a story for another time. Guess what?
Yep.
Never got the story. Okay.
Han's dead, and you never got to tell that story to anybody.
You are forgettable. Good call there,
Wild.
Phil. All right.
Next up, Mando Pirate says Janna, one of the most useless characters. And then League follows up, says, right, I forgot about her. Also, that creepy interaction with Lando. Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part about introducing new characters into a final film, right? Like when you introduce brand new characters into a final film and there's secondary, tertiary characters, like how much time do you really have to build on them?
And she's sort of like that. There was a thread kind of where I think League is hinting at where she was supposed to be potentially Lando's long lost child.
Yeah, exactly. And like, could that be followed up on? Probably not now. Like Billy is so old,
struggling.
Yeah, so it's likely not going to happen that we're going to get any more payoff there. Mando Mugshot says DJ was the worst, most pointless character in all of Star Wars. Like a lot of famous actors who were just shoehorned in just to say that they were in Star Wars. Richard E. Grant, Pink Hair Lady. Pink Hair Lady, no, that's Laura Dern. She was Holdo had a pretty big role in that movie. The old guy at the beginning of TFA, Phasma, to name a few pointless characters with absolutely no backstory or development. Then again, even the main cast of Poe and Rey had no real arc. At least Finn had a bit of development, but then by TLJ, we just had no idea what to do with him. They spent the whole movie shouting Rey in the background.
Beating the shit out of TLJ at this point. He took the opportunity to list the character and then go, you know what? I'm going to air some grievances about this film.
He says, I hate that damn movie. I really can't bring myself to watch it again. Sorry, ran over. So I mean, I mean, the only one on that one that I'll disagree with is Holdo, because Holdo played a pretty prominent role in TLJ, but obviously Mando Mugshots, it's not going to rewatch it. Which, hey, everybody has their own favorite films, and ones they watch and ones they don't. But yeah,
he's not wrong though. I mean, Richard Grant played that Admiral Pyre or whatever. He's like some Sith acolyte. Again, he was fleshed out in comic books after the movie, but in the movie, it's just like, okay, why does this guy have such a boner for Kylo and the Sith? And then you kind of
that is one thing that the OT did a really good job of doing, is keeping the cast limited. Like there were not a lot of secondary, tertiary characters. Like the most famous one was definitely Mothma. Like Mothma was the most famous non-main character in that.
You could say like Admiral Piet, maybe on the Empire side.
Like some of those like throwaway ones where it's clearly like you're just Vader's ragdoll at some point. But
they were used right. Like General Veers was used right. It's like, hey, this is General Veers. Exactly. He drives AT-ATs and he's a badass. Okay, good. That's all you need to know. You don't need to like get anything deep like they're trying to do here. All right, next up. From League.
All right, next is League. DJ again in TLJ. So people hating on DJ. What was the point of his character? Honestly, we don't know.
Just to be an asshole. Really, just to be an asshole.
Yeah, just to show that assholes exist in Star Wars too. Nova Toymation, Lore Santeca. So that's who Mando Mugshot, the old guy in the beginning of TFA. Who even is this guy? His character raised more questions than answers. So yeah, Lore Santeca, the Santeca clan, like they tried to expound on that a little bit more in like you said, comics and other written materials, but like never really stuck in
Yeah,
any
no, like
way, but essentially,
he drives around with Luke on some missions, and clearly he had relations with the Organa family, or knew of Leia quite
yeah.
well. But yeah, he goes nowhere. So definitely forgettable. Good call there, Nova Toymation. If Nova, if you're still listening, we want to revisit your question or your ask us anything. Did you happen to partake in some herbal remedies when you wrote that
Before
question? We would love your
before
thoughts.
submitting that question,
Yeah,
it
your
came in at
thoughts.
2 a.m. too, which is prime
Yes.
herbal remedy time.
Hey
So
man, Star Wars is cool, but War of the Stars doesn't make sense. But
not cool.
what about Ring Lord and Lord of the Rings? I loved it. I mean, like I said, Nick and I could have philosophized about that for the whole show, but we decided to move on with our special topic. So thank you. All right, I think
Yeah.
that's it for question of the week responses, right, young Nick?
That is right. That's the
Okay.
end of the question of the week. We're now moving on to the top 5 Star Wars fan arts features of the week. To get involved, make sure to follow at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram and add tag at StarWarsTime.show on all of your Star Wars Instagram posts. That's how you fall into our tag feed, and that's where I pulled the top 5
Here we go.
from.
Say this to your dad next time you talk to him, but say, hey, we got a fan that creates questions. His goal for us is to create terrible Bobo questions for you when I can. Your
Okay,
dad,
there we go.
your
Thank
dad
you,
will
Nova.
100% know what that means. And he'll be like, damn it, I love my son.
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Nova, for that confirmation.
Your thoughts.
All right. Kicking off the top 5 this week, we got Black Series Natural Light, and Black Series Natural Light is giving us a really clean shot of Dr. Aphra, somebody that we don't really see a ton of in toy form. And Dr. Aphra is standing at the opening of what looks like a pretty cool cave that might have some Sith relics or stuff like that in there, just out doing her explorer type of deal. Really enjoy the use of atmosphere here. Black Series Natural Light gives you like a clean shot on the next slide. So enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the setup, enjoy seeing Dr. Aphra in toy form.
That's right. You know, BLK Series Natural Light is always outside taking advantage of that natural light. So give him a follow on Instagram.
That's right. Next up, we got Corey K Figures. Corey K Figures is giving us a look at oh my god. My brain has just been like terrible right now. Dengar gives us a look at Dengar before he gets turned into you remember in
both
the
of us
sequel,
have some holes in our brain for whatever reason these days.
Definitely. Dengar, before he gets turned into whatever the fuck he got turned into in the sequel trilogy, remember that they were like turned his body into like so this is Dengar pre plastic surgery. You can see that forearm looks like
I'd say
dead,
there's some rhinoplasty too. I mean that guy, or I guess that's the same thing. Or rhinoplasty, is that the face?
Yeah, that's your nose.
Okay,
He had a nose job. Yeah. You could see some of the other bounty hunters laying at his feet. You see IG-11 right there. You see Forlom laying right there too. Looks like Dengar was going through a battle of the bounty hunters, perhaps. I know that was a comic thread at one point. And then it looks like he may be on Jakku or some other garbage-ridden planet here on Star Wars. I just like I like the setup. I like the inclusion of the other bounty hunters in there. It looks like there's almost like an Iron Man helmet that might be like front left frame.
That's I think that's that Zero droid from the Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's his name. Like I said, I got holes in my brain too with this stuff anymore. So I used to be able to recall like random Star Wars knowledge easy. Now it's like, yeah, Matt, you've done a number on your mind, bro. You might want to chill out on those herbal remedies moving forward.
Yeah, a little less.
Yeah, good stuff here from
herbal.
Corey.K.Figures on the gram.
That's right. Next up, we have Mr. Jedi. And Mr. Jedi comes up with his own Star Wars story. Stormwatch, a Star Wars story. As dark clouds rolled over the rocky outcrop, the rebel squad paused to regroup. Their mission: intercept an encrypted Imperial transmission hidden in the mountains of Arcanus. So this scene here, we see some cool, like a really, really cool setup. Honestly, it's very organic setup. You see rebel troopers hiding behind outcroppings of rocks. You see R2D2 and C3PO there as well. Awesome looking black clouds starting to roll over the horizon. Just all around a really cool setup and
Yeah.
ideation on story points here from Mr. Jedi.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just a very, it feels very real life, like war photography. You know, you had the photographer there just capturing a moment of not silence, but maybe a pause in the action or behind the lines of these rebel soldiers getting ready to plan to fight, and throwing the droids in there, a nice touch. But yeah, I think this setup is fantastic. I love how it's just a scene. You know, it's not actiony, it's not a portrait, it's just a scene, but well laid out by Mr. Jedi on Instagram.
That's right. Next up, we have Mando mugshots, the infamous TLJ hater, back on the back on the screen again, and it's not a shot from TLJ; it is a shot from Mando. Obviously, we see Mando, we see Grogu, we see Bo-Katan, and we see Moff Gideon on the ground under the boot of Din Djarin himself with the darksaber lit in his hands. A little bit of a different outcome for Gideon here than what happened in the show, but it would have been pretty cool to see Mando just straight up chop off Gideon's head with the darksaber, right? I think that would have been.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, Mando mugshots is one of the best posers out there. Not an That's actual right. poser, but poser of action figures. And their ability to kind of mesh practical with the digital backdrops and blend them seamlessly. So, you know, Mando is always on our feeds. He gets featured in my little things throughout the week. He gets question of the week responses. I don't think he wants to admit he's an SWTS super fan, but deep down he is. So we love you, Mando. Mando_mugshots on Instagram.
That's right. And then the final one
Battle
here.
Battle of the Babes.
That's right. So we got I Am Not a Committee. So I am not a committee on Instagram. And they're posting a lightsaber showdown between Shin Hati and the Legends character of Jaina Solo. Jaina with that awesome purple/pink lightsaber blade, Shin with her orange lightsaber blade, going to battle on the snowy grounds of what was the planet that they left from in Ahsoka season 1? Shit. What was
again?
I can't remember anymore.
Holes in brain, pal.
Yeah.
Doesn't work the way it used to.
Snow-covered planet. This could be a lot of different places in Star Wars. But yeah, man, I mean, I love the setup. I love the figure of Jaina as well. Like it's more of like a cartoon-esque figure because obviously we've never seen her in live action before. But I love the design. She was always the pilot first and a Jedi second. That, you know, coming directly from her. Sword of the Jedi versus this mercenary, this force using mercenary in Shin Hati would be a fun battle to see all the way through for sure. Love the posing, love the effects here from I Am Not a Committee.
Hey, Red Six down. What planet are you on? We're not even talking about Din and Cassian. Okay, so
Din and Cassian are memorable.
Learn how to process what you're either hearing or seeing, and come back in another day.
Yeah, they did not make our forgettable character list.
Din and Cassian are. All right.
Yeah, Din and Cassian are main characters. You are correct.
Maybe they're watching the Fox News version of the Star Wars time show. I don't know. All right.
Misinformation.
There you go. I am not a committee on Instagram. Give them a follow on Instagram. And Nick, let's wrap this biatch
That's
up.
Right. That's the end of the top 5, and that's the end of our show for this week. So Matt, close us out.
That's right. Thank you, young Nick, and we appreciate all yins. There you go. Break out some Pittsburgh for you. All yins that were with us for this 2-hour and 10-minute long episode of the Star Wars Time Show. If you joined late, our main segment this week was the most forgettable characters, 15 of them. There probably should have been more from the Disney era of Star Wars. Part 1 we did last week. It's now on the channel. You can check that one out. We went through 18 characters that are forgettable from the pre-Disney era Star Wars. All right, my friends, there's always time for Star Wars time, as we like to say. So tell a friend. Let's try to get a few more new subs in here. That would always be great. That makes us feel awesome. We've been on the verge of 3,000 for like 2 months now, and we just can't get that faucet turned back on. So tell a friend, tell an enemy. It doesn't matter. There's always time for Star Wars time. If you are new and you're listening, take the 2 seconds to at least subscribe. I promise you we're not going to send you anything that's going to make you throw up or get ill or want you to stab your eyes out. You know what I mean? It's just a sub. If you want to take your fandom to the next level, we would love you to consider joining our membership program through YouTube. As low as $1.99, and you get some neat little things next to your name, like you can see with League and Nova and who else we got in here that is on the membership.
Based and Brazen.
Yeah, Based and Brazen. See, look at that. You want those gold Vaders? You got to join the club. So think about it. There's always time for Star Wars time, as we like to say around these parts. And if you listen or watch the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.